So let's talk about trades that sucked over the years. So there's a lot of trades that have been made that still kind of hurt for one reason or another. So TK, I'll start. I'll kind of get some of the older trades that I remember before you were really old enough to watch and understand baseball.
Yes.
So let's start with 2003, when you were merely a dream. No, how
I
were
was
you born?
three.
You're
I
three?
was three.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, the Yankees traded Nick Johnson and Juan Rivera and Randy Choate to the Montreal Expos for Javier Vasquez, who was coming off of a career year. Vasquez did absolutely nothing for the Yankees, and all three of those guys ended up being good players. Nick Johnson was a homegrown lefty. He had something like a 550 on base percentage one year in Double-A. Like, you never seen anything like it. And then, he calls up. He had a couple of decent years. I believe he was on that 04 team, and then he was on the 03 team that went to the World Series, and then he got traded in the offseason. He had a great swing, but just couldn't stay healthy. But he did have some good years later on in his career with the Nationals and so forth. And Juan Rivera had some good years. He had 20-plus home runs a couple of times, 800 OPS a couple of times, and Vasquez did nothing. So let's go to one that's more recent vintage. What do you got on your list?
Yeah. Yankees and Rangers, July 29th, 2021. We traded for famed Joey Gallo and Joely
Oh,
Rodriguez, and that did not work out.
I
And I
can't believe
remember
you've
at the
done
time,
this.
oh God, I remember at the time I was living in Miami for an internship, and I went to go see the Rizzo Gallo debut in Miami. I went to Marlins Park. I went to the game, and they traded away Josh H. Smith, Ezekiel Duran, Trevor, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Hovar, and Glenn Otto. So Glenn Otto, I don't even think is with the Rangers anymore. I think they traded him. But Josh A. Smith and Ezekiel Duran turned into some nice little
good
players
players.
there over there. They turned into some solid players, and frankly, like that would be probably a solution at third for the Yankees right now if they never make that deal. They wanted another lefty in the lineup. They wanted to get more left-handed, so they got Gallo and Rizzo. Gallo can field. He's always been able to field, but when they acquired him, my thing was like between Judge and Stanton, it was just too many strikeouts in the
Yeah.
lineups. And he was just such a head case. I didn't even know that about him until he got there, but after like 2 weeks, the Yankee fans just got on him, and it was over. I think he hit like 160 as a Yankee,
Yeah.
something like that.
My next one is Ted Lilly. Okay, so he was part of a 3-team trade for Jeff Weaver. Jeff Weaver was the 2002 version of Devin Williams, just had no interest whatsoever in pitching in New York. Spotlight was too much for him. If he stayed in Detroit, he probably would have been a really good pitcher. By the way, I love that photo of Joey Gallo with his hair sticking up, like just the look on his face. I was like, if there's ever been a picture that more perfectly defined a person,
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway,
Probably struck out for the fifth time that
yeah.
day.
Lilly ended up having a really effective career. And wait till his photo comes around in just a second. I want to ask you something. There's somebody that he looks like, and I've been trying to put my finger on it for a while. And I finally, today when we were working on this segment, it finally occurred to me. Who the hell does that look like to you? John Boy. He looks like John Boy to me.
A little bit.
Do you see it?
A little bit. Yeah.
Looks just like it. Looks like a younger, skinnier version of John Boy.
I was gonna say like Mark Leiter Jr. a little bit without the mustache, like clean shaven.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
Another recent one. Again, when they made this deal, I'm not even saying this because I'm Monday morning quarterback. This is genuine. All right, I'm being honest here. When they made this deal, I was like, "What are you doing?" They traded for IKF and Donaldson for Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez, and they took Donaldson's entire salary on. When they could have just cut Gary Sanchez, they were just trying to get rid of him. They could have just DFA'd him. If they acquired Donaldson and the Twins, yeah, the Twins had eaten like most of the money, I probably would have lived with it. But the fact that the Yankees took on the 2 years, $50 million just made no sense. Just made absolutely no sense. And I remember Brian Cashman was like, well, we appreciated everything that Gio's done for us. He's a great player, but he's not Josh Donaldson.
My last one is one of the first moves that Cashman ever made. It was Mike Lowell to the Marlins for Ed Yarnall, Mark Johnson, and Todd Noel, who combined for pretty much nothing, while Mike Lowell went on to become a World Series MVP with the Red Sox and a legitimate Yankees killer in Boston. All-time terrible trade. And I think Brian Cashman even said that that's one deal that he wishes he could have back. That's a tough one, TK. What else you got?
Yeah. There's actually somebody we didn't even put this in our notes, but somebody had mentioned the Andrew Benintendi trade. That wasn't that
Yeah.
great. It was kind of like a underwhelming. I was really for that trade, and then he had a cup of coffee with the Yankees, and then he signed with the White Sox, never to be heard from again. But when he was a Red Sox, he was awesome. He killed us.
I got to find
But
out
that
what
was
Andrew Benintendi is doing right now.
but that was a trade that was like whatever. But I think more recently, again, Frankie Montas. We really don't have a great history trading with the A's. We sent J.P. Sears over there, who kind of turned into a nice little pitcher. Look at that. Oh, my God. What is he hitting? Like
237, 6
237?
home runs. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Tough.
Nothing. But yeah, the Frankie Montas one was he did absolutely nothing for the Yankees, was injured most of the time. He sucked. He's on the Mets right now. And then we sent J.P. Sears, who's I guess he's turned into a nice little rotation piece for them as well. I don't even know if he cracks the rotation on this Yankee team, but he's an arm who can throw strikes and get guys out. So that was something that Frankie Montas didn't do for the Yankees. So I take it as an L.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of good ones. The Fred McGriff deal. I think they had Doug Drabeck at one point. The Jay Buhner one. Oh, man. How could you trade Jay Buhner for Kent Phelps? You don't know what the hell you're doing.